From all points of the compass they come. Arkansas, Wisconsin, Florida. Their names are as colorful as their cars. Billy the Kid, the Southern Gentleman, the Frazeysburg Flash. But their goal is the same. 100 laps from now, someone will be king of the hill in this Tennessee tussle. Let the chase begin. The defending race champion is on the pole, but 23 other drivers hope to have something to say about who will go to victory lane on this speedway's high banks. And welcome to the first of the Hav-A-Tampa telecasts here on Speed Vision. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. Besides just showing you great racing action, we're going to take the helmets off the drivers, let you look them eye to eye, and decide how much you like them. Now, with that mission statement taken care of, let's bring in our expert commentator, Ozzy Altman, who knows these drivers better than anybody. And Ozzy, tonight's Tazewell tussle ought to be a good one.
Tazewell Speedway, very conducive for 3 and sometimes even 4 wide racing. Very high bank racetrack, as you can see here. These guys really enjoy coming to this track. Now, an afternoon shower that lasted for about 2 hours has put the bottom groove of the racetrack kind of up in question right now. I believe they got it worked back in, and we should see some very exciting racing. And, of course, as you mentioned, a different perspective, some surprises for you viewers tonight, riding around with the best in the business.
Well, let's introduce you to the third member of our announced team who will be trackside before, during, and after the race, Bill Hennessy.
If the last chance qualifier was any indication of what we're going to see here this evening, this should be a barn burner at Tazewell, Tennessee. Starting on the outside of the front row is Donnie Moran. Last year started 16th and ended up 8th. You're on the outside of the front row. Can you win here this evening, Donnie?
Well, anything's possible, but we're starting a lot better spot than we did last year. And, you know, the competition's a little bit tougher this year, so hopefully we'll have a good run.
Starting next to Wendell Wallace, he told me earlier that the outside groove is the place to be. Will you have an advantage?
We might on the start, but, you know, he's a strong competitor, and the way we have to start, you know, with the green light start almost a flagman stand, it's a pretty dead heat once we get to corner.
For Wendell Wallace, he is starting on the pole, exactly where he ended up last year in victory lane. So starting in the #1 position, doesn't look like you've lost anything since last season here.
Now, I tell you what, you know, the guys has worked real hard on the race cars and got them prepared really well. And hopefully, you know, we can wind up and race at the front all day and stay out of trouble.
What's the drag race going to be like into turn 1?
You know, Donnie, he's a good racer, and we're both going to be racing to the first corner. And, you know, I think the high groove's the place we need to be. So we'll just have to see who gets there first, and hopefully we can get a good start.
Well, best of luck, Wendell.
Thank you.
And a large crowd is on hand, ready to enjoy the action. Tonight's Hav-A-Tampa telecast is brought to you by Iski Racing Cams. Go fast, go Iski. By MDC, the official die-cast manufacturer of the Hav-A-Tampa Series. By Redline Oil, the official lubricant of the Hav-A-Tampa Series. And by GoRacing.com, home of the Hav-A-Tampa Series website. The family of the late Ray Neely leading the cars around the racetrack. Now, what is a Hav-A-Tampa late model car? Well, let's go to Ozzy for the answer.
As in any other business, major business decisions have to be made behind the desk. This is the desk of Ronnie Johnson as you look in the cockpit of his Pontiac Grand Prix. A lot of decisions have to be made during the race, but the major decisions have to be made prior to the race. Different chassis setups, different combinations of springs and shocks, and the huge variety of tire combinations and compounds that these drivers run make it all important for the driver to stay in tune with his late model. Now, Ronnie has a choice, as do all the drivers, on a type of motor to run. Does he run a 362 cubic inch engine or less, or a bigger motor? If he runs the large motor, he'll have to bolt on an extra 100 pounds to compete with the guys that are running the smaller motors.
And with that said, let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race with Wendell Wallace from Batesville, Arkansas on the pole. On the outside front row is Donnie Moran from Dresden, Ohio.
Current series points leader Scott Bloomquist out of Mooresburg, Tennessee on row 2, alongside of Bill Fry out of Greenbrier, Arkansas.
Inside of row 3, it's Roger Best from Maryville, Tennessee, and Billy Ogle Jr. from Knoxville.
Defending Hav-A-Tampa Series champion Billy Moyer out of Batesville, Arkansas, inside row 4, alongside of Chattanooga, Tennessee's Ronnie Johnson.
Skip Arp will start in the 9th spot from Georgetown, Tennessee, and next to him is teammate Freddie Smith, the Southern Gentleman.
Back in row number 6, Rick Rogers in the 144 car. He's out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and Marshall Green out of Dalton, Georgia in the yellow 89 car.
Ray Cook from Murphy, North Carolina starts inside row 7, and to his right in the 99W, Edwin Wells.
Back in row 8, it's Dale McDowell alongside of David Payne.
And as you look at the drivers who made it in the Consi races and the provisionals to fill out the field, we have a new wrinkle for you this year. In-car cameras. Freddie Smith will be carrying it. And it's a view we're looking forward to, sponsored by Iski Racing Cams. And this is a view we're really looking forward to.
Looking at the current point standings, Scott Bloomquist leads the way. Skip Arp in second, Freddie Smith third, followed by Wendell Wallace and Donnie Moran.
And here we go, 100 laps around Tazewell Speedway. The green flag is out, and there's thunder in the hills. And Donnie Moran in the 99 from the outside pole position jumps to the early advantage. Wendell Wallace tucks back into the 2nd spot. The 66 is Bill Fry in 3rd. He's getting pressure from the 0 of Scott Bloomquist.
Mark, Bill Fry also looking to the top side of that racetrack, right along the fence as they thunder around this high bank track. Tremendous speed and very fast laps here at Tazewell.
And that's what we'll watch. Will the high side be the fast way around or the low side? That's the view that Freddie Smith has in the Iski Racing Cam's in-car camera.
You also see Skip Arp directly in front of Freddie Smith as they run back at about the 7th and 8th positions. A couple of those cars really working well down on the low side of the racetrack.
Great sound in the car. You can hear where he picks up the throttle and where he backs out of it.
Freddie Smith, very, very cagey veteran. He's delicate with that throttle right now, trying to pick his way and find an early successful route around Tazewell Speedway.
And he's looking at the bottom side, the first driver we've seen downstairs, and also the car in front of him, the 201, several positions ahead. The Billy Ogle car, he's also looking to the low side.
And right now, Ogle's putting a lot of heat on Scott Bloomquist and Bill Fry as a 3-car battle is broken loose for the 3rd position.
That gives you a pretty good sense of just how far they've got that nose cocked toward the infield.
Ogle right beneath Bloomquist as they work down the back chute.
This is a battle for 3rd. Bloomquist has got the low side, Fry staying upstairs, and for the moment it still looks like the high side is the fast way around Tazewell.
Looks like problems in turn 3, Mark.
Yes, Leland Pruitt, the 11 car, has just gone around, and also I think Marshall Green is up against the fence in turn 3. On lap 8, the caution is out, and we'll step away for a moment and be right back with more action in the Hav-A-Tampa Series. We're under our first caution on lap 8 as Donnie Moran has led every circuit so far, with pole sitter Wendell Wallace sitting in the 2nd spot. And Ozzie, let's explain what race officials are doing here to these cars on the track.
Under Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series rules, Mark, only series officials or pit stewards working with those officials are allowed to touch those cars under the caution. Now, this is a precautionary measure. Safety always a priority for all of the competitors. Not only do they want to make sure no sheet metal or materials comes off of those cars that would damage or cut tires, but particularly not going to have debris out there for other competitors to run across.
Now, the 114 was Randall Chupp. The 4 was Roger Hayden. The 89 is Marshall Green, coming to the attention of officials there. He will be able to return to action. Now, Billy Moyer is sitting 6th on the grid right now. Coming into this event, he's 7th in the series points. That's not the position he's accustomed to being in as the series champ.
The championship last year was all yours. This year, it seems like it's a tough fight.
Yeah, we've just got off to a rough start here. We've been trying some things early in the year, and we've had a few things go wrong. You know, we've had some motor problems or whatever and fell out of a race or two. We've DNF'd more this year already than we did all last year put together. So, you know, we just kind of a little bit of luck involved there, I guess. We got to get back. I think we got the cars working better again. We just got to get where we're finishing the races. But, you know, it's still early in the year, so we can come back.
Tazewell, what kind of track is this for you?
Well, it's a neat place here for sure with all the banking and stuff they have, and they got great fans and stuff here. It puts on a heck of a show. I've not really figured the combination out yet, what it takes to run fast here. I've only been here one other time besides this, and, you know, we feel like we're making some gains in it, hopefully, but we got to get better with our setup and stuff.
And it appears the GVS racing team's on the way to getting better, already with 2 Hav-A-Tampa wins this year, Mark.
Those wins coming in Batesville, Arkansas, and Fayetteville, North Carolina. Scott French puts the green flag back out, and the field is back underway. Single file restart, and Wendell Wallace looks underneath, but Moran will hold the top spot.
Wendell Wallace, not the only guy getting a little antsy here as they go darting and diving, looking for position. You might have saw him back there fanning out 3 wide, and immediately the yellow's out.
And Roger Best has come to grief over in the second turn for our second yellow, still on lap 8. You've got to complete the entire lap for it to be credited in the books in most dirt track racing series.
Best car sits down on the inside apron, pointed in the opposite direction, speaking with track stewards. The driver out of Maryville, Tennessee. And there is Edwin Wells, also involved in this caution.
So a 2-car incident takes us under yellow. And while we have this moment, we'll step away for just a moment and be back with more from Tazewell. Those 28-degree high-banked turns have been unfriendly to a couple of drivers already as we get set to go back to green, but we already see drivers, Ozzie Altman, doing some groove searching and trying to see if they can get that lower groove worked in.
There are more than 2 grooves on the racetrack. Here the green flag waves, and immediately drivers, Wallace again, diving low, looking for running room. Beneath Donnie Moran, there's Bloomquist and Fry as they'll resume that battle for third.
That's been the hottest battle on the Speedway among the top 10 cars as Bloomquist in that distinctive 0 car, the yin and yang car, gives Jack Fry in the 66 all he can handle. Another look in the Iski Racing Cam's in-car camera, the view that Freddie Smith has from his office.
Dirt racing fans from across the country have longed for the day when they could ride along with Freddie Smith or someone of his caliber, actually getting the feel of what it's like to zip around at 120+ miles an hour around these high bank racetracks.
I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen dirt on our camera lens so far because there's a lot of it being thrown up in these cockpits.
Of course, the drivers wear tear-offs, a layer of plastic tear-offs in case the dust or mud hits them in the face mask there. They can continually remove a strip of tear-off to keep their vision clear throughout the race.
The car right in front of Freddie Smith is the 201 of Billy Ogle Jr., who qualified very well in his heat race, and we expect good things out of him tonight. Back up front, Donnie Moran has opened up as big an advantage as he has seen so far, but look at Wendell Wallace closing it back up, running the middle groove, trying to find another way around the track.
And as you mentioned, Ogle really putting that right foot down now as he battles right alongside Fry. Both cars pitch a little sideways. They'll take that battle into turn 3.
And this is the trademark style of racing at this Tazewell Speedway. It's got a lot of banking. Even the straightaways are banked over 20 degrees, so it is a constant struggle around the Speedway as there's just about contact coming into turn 3.
Now, both of these drivers are driving Warrior chassis race car. I believe this is the first Hav-A-Tampa race that Bill Fry has ever driven a Warrior, and they've got him working well there.
Now, Moran has opened up the margin, and now bolt sitter Wendell Wallace has got to be concerned with Scott Bloomquist, who is putting on a challenge. And we have caution on the Speedway once again for a big wreck up in turn 2. The 114, that's Randall Chubb, and the S9, the rookie contender, Dan Schleeper. They've brought out the caution on lap 12.
And you can see a lot of fluid leaking out. I believe it's out of the radiator of Chubb's car.
Chubb has climbed from his car, and Bill Hennessy is with him.
And what happened over there in that corner?
Well, Dan Sleeper tried to put a slide job on me and didn't nowhere near have me cleared and just stuffed me in the outside wall.
As we walk the field from the back to the front, the 11 was Leland Pruitt. That's Ivident Lloyd from Ocala, Florida. In front of him, last year's Rookie of the Year, Earl Pearson Jr. in number 46. Right in front of him, Marshall Green, who's already had an eventful evening so far.
Marshall Green in another one of the Warrior cars. Then you look up to Dale McDowell out of Rossville, Georgia in that blue 17M. He's a teammate to Wendell Wallace, and directly in front of him, it's the black 31 car, Skip Harp, who's currently second in the points. Ronnie Johnson lies directly ahead. Ronnie out of Chattanooga in the 5 machine.
Skip Harp coming into this event second in the series points with 3 victories in the 1998 campaign.
Ronnie Johnson out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, second on the all-time series win list. He's in a Pontiac Grand Prix. There's Ray Cook. Keep your eye on this guy, a young up-and-comer. He's in that Ford Mustang with an Ernie Elliott motor. And David Payne, the young driver out of Murphy, North Carolina, having a super night here in the white 8 car.
He's running in the top 10. Billy Moyer, you met him just moments ago. He's sitting in a position that I think he likes to be in right now, watching everybody circulate around the track and trying to find his best groove, but he's been able to stay out of trouble. And back up front as we get ready to go back to green, Donnie Moran, as he has done ever since the green flag, leads the field around the speedway.
Again, Wallace tucks down beneath him, and here comes Bloomquist, a 3-car battle for the lead. They'll take it down into turn number 3. Bloomquist takes it deep this time out of 4. He's beneath Wallace in a battle for second.
Now, this past week, Bloomquist and Wallace, they had a confrontation at a non-sanctioned event, and there may be some hard feelings. In fact, there's contact between the two, and everybody stays aimed in the right direction, but that was a close call, and they're back at it again side by side in the second spot.
And they've contacted again, Mark, over in turn 2. The caution has flown. Scott Bloomquist and Wendell Wallace colliding as they exited turn 2.
And we've got caution on the speedway. And this was a wreck that really started over in turn 3, Ozzie.
Well, it might have started a long time before that, Mark. This feud's been bubbling over for quite a while now.
Well, Scott Bloomquist appears to have gotten the worst of the incident. He's got the flat left rear tire and some obvious body damage to his Ford Mustang.
And Bloomquist takes that car down into the pit area, the left quarter panel, severe damage. And here comes Wendell Wallace back around the track. And out to greet him on the racetrack is race director Scott French.
Salmon's swimming upstream, and they will have a conversation about that incident. We'll be back. Fireworks have erupted at Tazewell Speedway as race director Scott French is having a meeting with Wendell Wallace in his office. Ozzie, what might he be saying?
Well, certainly the incident between Scott Bloomquist and Wendell Wallace has been an ongoing feud and rivalry. And Scott French most certainly are telling the drivers right now as we look at the replay that all of this kind of activity is not going to be tolerated when it puts the other competitors in harm's way.
And Fry was involved too. Bill Hennessy?
Bloomquist into the pits, changing the left rear tire after the collision over in the second quarter, bringing out the caution. They're also twisting away some of the sheet metal on the left rear quarter panel. They've had a little problem mounting this tire. Bloomquist will be falling to the back of the field.
And Ozzie Altman, for our new viewers to Hav-A-Tampa Racing, let's explain the Hav-A-Tampa United Dirt Track Racing Association rules about incidents.
Well, this was definitely a racing incident between two competitors under green flag conditions, and racing incidents happen. They've happened ever since the sport was invented. They'll continue to happen, but both of these drivers called for the caution. They'll each be sent to the rear, and now you see Scott French having his little meeting with Scott Bloomquist on the front straightaway, again telling both of these drivers that any further misconduct could result in penalization.
And Bill Fry's car showing the effects of almost getting through the incident, but not quite. And Ozzie, the question is, how will that affect his handling and aerodynamics on this extremely fast 3/8 mile?
Well, Fry's seems to have had that car right up against the guardrail, and so maybe it will have minimal effect as Donnie Moran leads him back to the green flag.
The cone is out. They can't get on the throttle till they pass the cone and get the green flag from Scott French. And Donnie Moran once again sets sail, but this time he's getting pressure from the 201 of Billy Ogle Jr.
Ogle just underneath Moran, side by side, pushes it up in front. His car breaks loose a little bit in turn 2. What a remarkable performance from this young driver out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Let's just watch it and enjoy it. Ogle is trying to do it downstairs while Moran has been running the high line all the way for the first 20 laps.
Ogle in a Warrior chassis Chevrolet Monte Carlo. It has a custom power plant under the hood. Moran, of course, in a Monte Carlo.
And it's hard to imagine, but they're running the circuit at 115 miles an hour, half of it sideways.
Wendell Wallace qualified in Friday night's qualifying, 116.499 miles per hour. And these guys are right with that pace. And there's Ogle again, challenging for the lead.
Billy Ogle Jr., who has never won a Hav-A-Tampa race. Donnie Moran, who's won a bunch of them, and some big dollar races, such as the World 100 at UDTRA Speedway. You've got a driver with a lot of experience on the outside in that blue 99, and a young up-and-comer giving him everything he can handle downstairs.
And although Ogle is from the area, this is not necessarily his home track. He's run here before, but he doesn't race at this track week by week. And he's right there putting the nose of that machine up front.
Overtaking Roger Best, and that's something they'll start to watch too, as they'll be catching some of the lapped cars. Those may be involved in earlier incidents, or quite frankly, a number of cars that just haven't gotten hooked up. And that last time around, Ogle did not have a particularly good trip through turn 2.
He's kind of made up for it now as he closes back down on Moran as they're working to the outside of the Leland Pruitt machine. Leland again out of Savannah, Georgia, another one of the rookie contenders.
And what happened to Ogle just moments ago just gives you a sense of how important it is to be able to get off the turns effectively on a dirt track.
Especially with the banking here. Tremendous banking, not only in the turns, as you stated earlier, Mark, in the straightaways. 3/8 mile track, and it doesn't take you long to get lapped if you're not running at the best that your car can handle.
That's Scott Bloomquist. He is one lap down at this point, so the series points leader has absolutely no chance of winning tonight's race. But the battle for the win is up front, as Ogle has closed again and got his nose underneath for just a moment, but has to tuck back in.
He almost made that slide job work. Look at him work behind the lap cars, or cars just about to go a lap down. Here's a dart down into turn number 1.
And the lead has changed hands. Will Ogle hold it? Yes, he does. And on lap 30, Billy Ogle Jr. has jumped to the point, and he's got a lapped car between himself and Moran. And that's going to help his cause.
He's weaving his way through this traffic, and that allows him to pull out right now about a 2.5 second advantage over Donnie Moran.
And Moran had to be careful there, as Rick Rogers got a little bit more out of shape than just the 20 or 30 degrees sideways that we're used to seeing.
Billy Ogle now rides through turn 3 and 4, darts beneath Herman Goddard to put him a lap down.
And you can see the fans in the main grandstand raising their arms, pumping their fist. He may not race here all the time, but they consider him a homegrown boy. Here's a replay of the pass for the lead.
What a move. Now, Rogers did a good job there, giving the leaders room to race coming out of turn 2.
And Moran had to be heads up as well, not to run into the side of Ogle. And Ogle's already pulled off to a sizable advantage as we're looking back a little bit further in the field, as Wendell Wallace, who was at the back, is working his way back toward the front. The question is, how far forward can he get?
Okay, Donnie Moran, there you see running in second. Bill Fry will challenge for that spot. And Billy Moore, you're way up the ladder out of turn 4, right up against the wall.
Noticing Fry trying downstairs. He had been running up high a little bit earlier, and Scott Bloomquist had gotten underneath him, so it looks like Fry is now chasing a groove.
And apparently that damage on the right rear quarter panel has no adverse effect on Bill Fry's performance at all.
Or if it's adverse, it's very minimal, because you never can tell. Maybe his car was better than Moran's to start, and he was just sitting back a little bit, so you never like to see anything knocked off the corner of a race car, especially when you're running straightaway speeds over 120 miles per hour.
But Fry's there now as he draws up on the underside of Moran. Almost got the spot coming out of turn 4 that time.
A good battle, 4 seconds. As Billy Ogle Jr. several laps ago took the point and has pulled away, Fry is still continuing to chase the low side, but that doesn't seem to be the very best spot for him at this point.
It's certainly working for Billy Ogle, who you can't see in the picture right now. One car slow. Rick Rogers slowing out of turn 4, and he'll try to limp it around to the pits as we stay green.
All competitors are running on bias ply tires. The tire of choice for the overwhelming majority of the competitors is Hoosier. But, Ozzie, there is a McCreary or two out there.
Well, there are 4 of them out there. They're on one car tonight. The first car this year that has advanced into a Hav-A-Tampa feature event on anything other than Hoosier Racing tires. David Payne, and he's having a great run here tonight.
Now, we notice up in the high lane, it's starting to darken a good bit. What is that going to do for tire wear?
Well, I believe that these guys that are running that high groove can get those right side tires up just above that dark streak into a cushion area, and they're seeking that moisture up there. Donnie Moran and Billy Moyer are notorious, well known for their ability to run up at the top of the racetrack, find that moisture, and make it last for their tires.
Moran has got the race leader in his sights about 4 car lengths ahead. He has just put a lap onto Scott Bloomquist, who is now 2 laps in arrears. There's Freddie Smith, the man carrying our in-car camera, and it always looks like these drivers have got a handful all the way around a dirt track, but these are the very best in the business, and they've got it under control.
Freddie getting that car sideways there, and now we're looking for battles for position. Ray Cook having a good run as he closes up on the rear deck lid of Billy Moyer.
That's for 4th. Back aboard with Freddie Smith in the Iski Racing Cam's in-car camera. We'll lay out and just let you listen to how he uses the throttle to steer the car. And we've got a pretty good sense of what he's going through in there. I think that gives you a real idea of just how hostile the environment is.
Freddie Smith has been doing this for a long, long time. He does it as good as anybody else. Not having a great night tonight, but there's a couple of guys that are. Ray Cook continues. Now he battles with Bill Fry, and Ronnie Johnson is in the fence.
Yeah, Ray Cook was all the way up battling for 3rd, but Ronnie Johnson has major problems, and he's brought out the caution on lap 49. At the halfway point of the Ray Neely Memorial 100, we'll step away for just a couple of moments. Stop number 12 of the 1998 Hav-A-Tampa Tour has had just a little bit of everything so far, with a relative unknown, Billy Ogle Jr. leading the event. Donnie Moran sits 2nd with Bill Fry 3rd. Ray Cook is charged to the 4th spot, and Billy Moyer, the series champion, sits 5th. As we go back to green on lap number 49, and Ogle, for the first time under green, sets the field to the restart. And Moran goes to the high side, but the battle looks like it's going to be for the 3rd spot. Side by side, Ray Cook and Bill Fry.
Now, Ray Cook had one of the runs of his life last weekend in that non-sanctioned event that Freddie Smith won out in Missouri, finished 2nd, and here he is battling with Bill Fry for 3rd.
And what a battle it is, and Cook has to lift a little bit so that he doesn't get into Fry, but caution is back on the track once again for debris. So they will reform the field, and while we have this break, let's remind you that you can get all your motorsports information and the very latest about your favorite channel by checking out Speed Vision online at www.speedvision.com. If you're just joining our telecast, pole sitter Wendell Wallace was involved in an incident with Scott Bloomquist, and we'll follow up on that in just a moment, as David Payne just came to the attention of one of the Hav-A-Tampa officials.
I believe some sheet metal was dangling on the right front quarter panel. David Payne, again, we've said it earlier, having a great run here tonight for the young independent driver, and it's a great story, a great night for young drivers. Billy Ogle up front in this Hav-A-Tampa event.
The 99 of Donnie Moran led the first 30 laps of this race, 29 laps actually, lap 30. That's when Billy Ogle Jr. jumped to the top spot. The 66 car is Bill Fry in 3rd as we walk back through the field. Ray Cook sits in 4th. Then Dale McDowell has jumped forward into the 5th spot.
This is a kind of a racetrack that Dale McDowell really likes. There's Billy Moyer. He's running back in 6th. Again, he's your defending series champion. Freddie Smith, who's running in 7th. And, of course, we've had a pleasure of watching Freddie's action from inside his car on the Iskey Racing Cam's in-car camera. Freddie's still running in the top 10, back in the 7th position in his Chevrolet Monte Carlo. And there is the David Payne machine. Apparently, the hood or that right front quarter panel and the nose piece dangling out there. And officials, again, not just for the safety or well-being of David Payne, but for the safety of all the drivers. Safety always a priority on the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series.
Using that 130-mile-per-hour duct tape down there at the exit to turn 4. But the story of the event continues to be this young man from Knoxville, Tennessee, Billy Ogle Jr. Car owner James Vanover has to be smiling from ear to ear at what he's seen so far tonight.
The Vanover family has sponsored this car for quite a few years. Billy Ogle has driven the car off and on. They've had several drivers in it, but this has got to be one of the most exciting runs they've ever had in that 201 machine.
Scott French turns them loose again. And Fry tries that low line for 2nd place. But more importantly, up front, Donnie Moran has his sights set on the leader. The question is, can he catch him again? Ogle has had this affair pretty much his own way ever since he took the lead on lap 30, but he's closed up. Moran is right there again.
That high side of the racetrack really working well for Donnie Moran. And he'll set it up there again as Ogle continues to launch off the bottom part of the racetrack out of turn 2. They're nose to tail in turn 3.
Moran feels like this racing season owes him one already. One of the earlier events in the year, he was just about to take the lead when rain came out and shortened the event to 51 laps. He's got a brand new crew chief this week, so they're going through the learning curve there, learning to understand each other a little bit better. And Moran is not accustomed to going this long into a race season without a victory.
Again, he'll work to the outside of Billy Ogle, but what a story this continues to be, Mark Allen. Billy Ogle Jr. really showcasing his talents in front of his home state crowd at Tazewell Speedway here tonight.
If you're just joining our telecast, Mark Allen, Ozzie Altman, and Bill Hennessy, happy to have you aboard for stop number 12 of the 32-event Hav-A-Tampa season. This has been an excellent race in many respects. We've had good battles in the top 5. We've had controversy between Wendell Wallace and Scott Bloomquist, which boiled over in a confrontation on the racetrack. Both of them sent to the rear of the field as per the rules because of the incident. But both of them got a stern talking to by race officials, and there has been no further contact between the two of them or any other cars close to them since that point.
Moran changing the groove now as he'll run down to the low side and try to make that line work. That's what's been successful for Ogle, and now Moran kind of rides in his tire tracks down in the back straightaway.
And this really is a fine art, as that's the best run he's had in a long time. Can he make it stick? No. He cannot make that bottom group work for the moment.
Billy Ogle Jr., a determined race driver, very knowledgeable at chassis setup. He's a young man, but he's come a long way, and he's earned the respect of all these guys here tonight.
And when we say make the low group work, these are the top 2 cars. They're both working very effectively around the speedway. It's just that Moran can't get enough bite to get back in front. And as lapped cars come into play, that's something that will also add a little bit of contact coming off the second corner between the top 2.
The 2 drivers ran out of room coming out of there, both of them up in the top side of the groove. Now there's about a 4-car length differential between first and second, and Ogle looks like he's got her hooked up again here.
There's Ray Cook. Now he's getting pressure from Dale McDowell in the 17M. Ray Cook running in the top 5. This is a battle for 4th. McDowell has made one of the best move forward of any competitor tonight. Started 15th. He's in 5th, battling for 4th.
And Dale McDowell not really happy with his qualifying run here last night, but very talented driver.
And way out of shape coming off the second turn. He's given up a couple of spots, and There could be a problem with the car. Car doesn't get cocked that much out of shape that quick. It didn't look like he was in that bad a shape going into the corner.
There's a possibility he could have a tire going down. We're not sure of that. We'll keep an eye on it. We were talking about McDowell. McDowell has 8 career Hav-A-Tampa wins, and he's done an exceptional job teaming up now with Wendell Wallace, and they've got support from Mundy Motorsports, the Mundy trucking operation, and Dover Cylinder Heads playing an important role in that 2-car tandem.
And Lapped Car is playing an important role in the battle up front as Donnie Moran is looking to the high side, while Ogle looks downstairs around Earl Pearson Jr., trying to put him a lap down. Scott Bloomquist is already 2 circuits in arrears to the race leader, but trying to get one of them back on the high side.
Now, the move-over flag definitely being displayed for these 2 drivers in front of your leader, but they're racing for position as well, Mark.
And that's Marshall Green in the 89, Pearson in the red 46, and Ogle making it 3 wide downstairs.
Billy Ogle relentless in his charge around Tazewell Speedway, trying to pick up a $15,000 payday.
We're going to take this quick timeout and return with more Hav-A-Tampa action from Tazewell, Tennessee. Back at Tazewell, Tennessee, a half moon out, a waxing moon, as Billy Ogle Jr. continues to set the pace. Donnie Moran second. Third is Bill Fry, followed by Dale McDowell, and the 31 car of Skip Arp. And the story of this race ever since lap 30 has been the Knoxville, Tennessee hot shoe Billy Ogle Jr., a relative unknown maybe to many dirt track racing fans, but the question is, Ozzie Altman, when's the last time a rookie or a comparative rookie driver has beaten up on the big boys like this?
Well, it's been nearly 3 years since a non-touring driver or a driver that tours with the series with some regularity has won a Hav-A-Tampa event. Jim McDuffie did that back in Mississippi nearly 3 years ago. It's all based, though, or falling right into the plans that occurred 9 years ago when Jimmy Mosteller founded this Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. His objective was to create a group of traveling drivers that could go up and challenge the local drivers who were best in their own backyard, to give those local non-touring drivers a chance to shoot the big guns out of the saddle. It's happening here tonight, and we'll know in just a few more laps if Billy Ogle can pull off this feat.
Quite a battle back for 5th between the 53 of Ray Cook and the 31 of Skip Arp. You saw the position change hands for a couple of laps, but Arp drifted up the speedway, and although Ray Cook may be having a tire problem, that's what we're suspecting, he did reclaim 5th for the moment. But riding a rail right now, Billy Ogle Jr. at the point, putting a lap on Ivident Lloyd, driver from Ocala, Florida, who has managed to stay for the most part out of trouble, as have most of the drivers tonight, and that was a question that many of them had before the event. They said the track wasn't so much physical as mental.
Certainly, when you're zipping around here at just over 11 seconds, lap after lap after lap, it does take its toll on you physically, but certainly mentally, you've got to be on your toes at all times.
If Bill Fry had a rear-view mirror, he would see the 17M of Dale McDowell closing ever so slowly, but steadily moving in the battle for 3rd. McDowell, 8 career wins in the Hav-A-Tampa Series, the most recent one coming back in 1997.
The 201 car of Billy Ogle Jr. headed towards victory lane if he can continue to run the laps that he's run all night, pulling away a little bit, opening up the distance between he and the rest of the field. Look at that battle for position.
That's for 3rd. Dale McDowell has closed up 3 car lengths in just this past lap. Scott Bloomquist has got the best seat in the house in this battle for position.
Bloomquist 2 laps down now to the leaders as you watch McDowell and Fry work the high side out of turn 2.
Though Fry's car has damage from an incident involving Bloomquist and Wendell Wallace in the early going, it does not appear to have affected the handling of that car too much.
Bill Fry also with 8 career Hav-A-Tampa wins, one coming in the Hav-A-Tampa shootout several years ago. And he's looking to get on a winning track now early in this 1998 campaign, having a super good run here tonight at Tazewell, Tennessee.
And folks, if you like what you see here and you want more information about the Hav-A-Tampa Racing Series, we invite you to visit the website at www.havatampaRacing.com.
Billy Moyer, the defending series champion, down low, and he is not on the same lap as Bill Fry and Dale McDowell, who zipped by on the outside of him. They're down the back straightaway.
Billy Moyer admitted to us before the race and in the interview that he still has not figured out a way around the speedway, and it looks like it'll be another few months before he gets a chance to try something different, because what he did tonight doesn't seem to have worked too well. We've got 10 laps to go.
Seeing quite a few drivers in a different chassis. Billy Moyer is in a rocket chassis race car this weekend, and we mentioned earlier Bill Fry in that orange and yellow 66, making his first Hav-A-Tampa run in a Warrior race car. Fry in a Chevrolet Monte Carlo with a productive run tonight. He's currently posted in 3rd place.
But still has seen the blue car get up inside of him, the 17M of Dale McDowell. I saw him get it there at least once or twice, so he knows he's there, but I wonder if he knows it's for position. Billy Ogle Jr. took the lead on lap 29 and has hardly been challenged since. Donnie Moran took a couple of shots at him about 20 laps ago, but that's the best he could do. In fact, Moran is actually fading as Ogle has got this field covered if he can take it all the way to the checkered flag, well inside of 10 laps to go.
And that's a monumental statement, Mark, when you say he's got this field covered. What a stellar field of performers out here tonight. And that makes this event even more special for Billy Ogle here in this tremendous run in his home state of Tennessee. And you can see his home fans rooting him on to victory.
And he's about to put a lap on Ray Cook, who was running so well in the middle portion of this race, but has faded badly. There has to be something wrong with that race car for him to have lost that many positions in about 25 laps.
And it looks like that left rear tire is going down. That could be the problem for Ray Cook.
That would be a tough break for the driver, who really put on a strong performance moving toward the front of the field and gave a good battle to Jack Fry for a number of laps. Caution is on the track on lap 97, and it is for Ray Cook, who we just talked about moments ago. And Ray Cook's night has taken a serious wrong turn as the left rear tire has let go. He'll go outside the speedway to get it replaced and get back into competition with the 2-lap courtesy rule. Tonight's Hav-A-Tampa telecast is brought to you by Iskey Racing Cams. Go fast, go Iskey. By MDC, the official die-cast manufacturer of the Hav-A-Tampa Series. By Redline Oil, the official lubricant of the Hav-A-Tampa Series. And by GoRacing.com, home of the Hav-A-Tampa Series website. We'll be back with the exciting finish after this. Any one of the 4 drivers chasing our race leader has still got a chance at victory, but Billy Ogle Jr. is going to have to make a mistake for them to drive to victory lane. Look at how steep the banking is in this track. 28 degrees of banking, and if you don't have a rear tire for traction, it's mighty hard to get up. If you're just joining our telecast, back on lap 17, 2 of the best in the business have had trouble before. They had trouble together tonight. Wendell Wallace and Scott Bloomquist got together for the 2nd straight week. On lap 29, the 201 of Billy Ogle Jr. shot to the bottom side and into the lead around Donnie Moran, and that's the way we have been ever since. And in less than half a lap, we'll go back racing for the final 3 laps.
Ogle will have to wait till he gets to the cone, according to Hav-A-Tampa rules, the green light and the flag wave. This is it. Less than 3 laps remaining for the Ray Neely Memorial 100. Donnie Moran got loose. Billy Ogle's got the break I believe he needs. Bill Fry up to 2nd.
In fact, Moran may have scuffed the wall up there, but up front, Ogle has pulled off to a sizable advantage as there is a terrific tussle for 2nd. Moran and Fry. Fry has it for the moment.
Wendell Wallace moving up as he battles with teammate Dale McDowell. So Wallace, after having to fall back at the rear of the field as a white flag waving, Wallace coming to the front.
One more time around the track for Billy Ogle. He comes off turn 4 the last time, and the local boy upsets the regulars and drives to victory at Tazewell, Tennessee.
Some people may call this victory an upset, but how can you call the performance that Ogle put on today an upset?
We'll be back with the winner's words right after this. You want happy? How about a ride with the winner for crew chief Dodie Cook? Let's take a look at the replay of that final frantic battle for second.
Mark, it was a wild 4-car scramble for the second position. Bill Fry picks up the spot. You see Wendell Wallace charging back to come home third, Moran in fourth, and Dale McDowell in fifth.
The winner gets a hug and a kiss from the wife and daughter and an interview with Bill Hennessy.
Congratulations, Billy, on winning the Neely Memorial 100 here at Tazewell. What a race you put on this evening.
I tell you, I didn't know if I was going to pull it off or not. I really didn't know which groove to run. I knew I was good on the bottom, but once I got the lead, I was debating if I should move it up or not. I got up a little, and I saw Donnie getting under me, so I moved it back down and just stayed there after that. But I tell you, I'm really thankful for the Lord for keeping me through this thing and keeping the car in one piece. The car was running a little warm there at one point. It went to about 250, and I got it back down. But I tell you, I just don't know what to say. I'm just so happy.
$15,250 to the winner as we look at the final top 10.
Ray Cook with a good run, even with the flat tire, to come home ninth. Bill Hennessy is with our second-place finisher.
Bill Fry, looks like you had a hard-fought battle getting all the way up there to second place. Just what kind of race was it for you, and how tough were those closing laps?
Well, early in the race, we thought we'd just bide our time and use patience because we knew there'd be a lot of cars get took out, and there was two in front of me I really figured would take each other out, and they did. We kind of got hung in that crash, and then after that, we had so much tore-up sheet metal, I was afraid the aerodynamics on the car might be screwed up enough that we couldn't get no air to the spoiler and get any forward bite. So we just kind of hung on, and then there at the end, we kind of got some traction on the low side and got around Moran for second. We didn't have anything for Ogle, though.
Despite finishing 11th, Scott Bloomquist still holds a sizable advantage over Skip Arp. Wendell Wallace finished third tonight, and he's with Bill.
Wendell, you started on the pole. Looks like you were a contender. Third of the way through the race, it looked like your car may have given up. How did he get by you?
I tell you what, you know, them guys was real fast on the outside, and Donnie beat me on the start. He had a good race car at the start, and our car really didn't feel like it was going to come in until later in the race there, and me and Scott kind of got together a little bit, but, you know, then we had to go to the rear, and then the car, as the race went on, it got real strong there at the end, and I really wished, you know, we could have had a few more laps. I'd like to try to run more at the end.
Ozzie, a final thought.
Great way to kick off the television season and Hav-A-Tampa action, and we'll move on to our next event.
And that's the story from Tazewell, Tennessee. We hope you enjoyed it. For Bill Hennessy and Ozzie Altman, I'm Mark Allen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Speed Vision.